That is not my future. I'm not going to be buried in a grave. When I'm dead, just throw me in the trash.
Hello, and welcome to another Steel Divisional overview. And today we're taking a look at the 716th Infantry Division, which I consider to be one of the worst divisions in game. I think Commandos can also come for a close second, but 716th isn't exactly A-list material, and I'll get into that a little bit later. Yeah, an Axis infantry division, so it's a lot of infantry equipment, and really it's just the infantry equipment that you have going for you. So without further ado, let's take a closer look. Activation points, you got a whopping 40, because you're an infantry division. You got a lot of infantry slots, and apart from that, everything's pretty well balanced. You just don't have a lot of recon, but apart from that, it's pretty standard loadout, to be entirely honest. Economy is rather interesting, as you got 100 points in A phase, which is a good amount. You had only 110 in B, and then only 120 in C. So really, it's all about that early A phase income. That really puts you at the advantage, because as the match progresses on, you're not really rolling in the dough. At the same time, you're not buying too many expensive units, so it's not a huge issue. So, well, let's take a look at the Recon tab. In the Recon tab, it's mainly just Recon Infantry. You got the bikes, yeah, terrible, you never take the bikes. You got all clears in only Kubel MGs, not worth it, as the Kubel MG is a pretty terrible fire support vehicle. You got Spar troops and just, unarmored Kubel, it's just a free transport. And then you got Fusiliers. Fusiliers are pretty nice infantry, as they're essentially like a Grenadier Pioneer squad rolled up into one. They got 2 submachine guns, which makes them somewhat decent at CQC. 1 MG34, which makes them somewhat decent at long range firepower, and an anti-tank grenade, which makes them somewhat decent with anti-tank capabilities. You've got recon optics too. They are pretty nice infantry units to use, and they're not really that bad. Fusiliers are pretty cool. They're a bit expensive, but they can kind of do everything, which is nice. Infantry, there's a lot of it. So you got Grenadier Fuhrers in A phase, in B phase you got Pioneer Fuhrers, and in C phase you get more Grenadier Fuhrers. So you got a decent amount of leaders. The only other one is Stealth Edge from Chio. A phase infantry, you got Osttruppen or Grenadiers to pick from. Both are not really terrible choices. You get more Osttruppen, they're slightly cheaper. You get less Grenadiers, but they're slightly better. It's really just down to personal preference. I don't think there's really a wrong answer between taking Osttruppen or Grenadiers, or heck, you could just take both in A phase. You can also take a MG34, which isn't all that terrible. I'm still not a big fan of using machine gun teams, but MG34 and 42 machine gun teams can be pretty useful. B phase got more Grenadiers, and you get a real healthy amount of Grenadiers in this. Like you get times 8 in B phase, and times C, you get him into 10 times availability. So this is like allied level of infantry spam here. The Grenadiers, honestly, are just not that great. They lack AT compared to Panzer Grenadiers, and they only have 1 machine gun, which is a disadvantage compared to Panzer Grenadiers. And for your Axis infantry, you really just want Panzer Grenadiers, I'd say. They give you such an advantage one-on-one against allied infantry. And you really do need that one-on-one advantage, because they usually bring in fire support to try and even out the odds. But the main kicker for the infantry, the real cool dudes, are these Italian free troops, I believe is what the actual term is. They got the exclusive MP or M38. Yeah, I think it's like no, it's not an MP. It's just the M38 submachine gun, which is this actually pretty awesome Italian submachine gun in real life, but it's pretty much the same as every other submachine gun in Steel Division. You got 2 of them, which is pretty decent. You got the same loadout, Kar 98s and MG34s, but you got a bloody Panzerfaust. So they are budget Panzer Grenadiers, essentially. You're losing a machine gun for a submachine gun. Not the best trade-off in the world, but having AT capabilities for your main infantry is pretty important, as you really need all the AT you can get for his division. And also, these are one of the few infantry units that actually have bloody veterancy. Yeah, they're really the only baseline infantry that has veterancy in his deck, so they're definitely a must-have pick, as they're pretty damn useful. Then you got Pioneers, essentially, in B phase, and you get more of the Italian guys in C phase. So it's a pretty underwhelming infantry lineup. To be honest, you think it kind of looks good because you got like a lot of stuff going for you, and the Italian troops are great, but just Panzer Grenadiers are so much better in every single aspect. Really, they're really quite good. But at least you got spam. You got a lot of goddamn spam with the infantry, and if you think you can spam with the infantry, you haven't even got to the tank tab. So 7/16th, you know, they're rating in line for lunch. First assess is first in line, you know. The Nazis give them some Panthers and Tigers, like a real good heap of lunch, and Trophy comes along, and then like 2nd Panzer, and then 9th Panzer, and then 352nd, and then Paris comes in and gets a few of the scraps out the bin. But then 7/16th is last is line. And they go up to like the lunch clerk, and they're like, "Hey, do you got anything left?" And they're like, "We only got this stuff from last week," and they're just throwing this huge slop of just French shitty tanks on you, and that's a tank lineup for 7/16th essentially. It's just 1940 French tanks. It's all it is. It's not even a Stug. There's not a single piece of actual original German engineering in the tank lineup for this division. I don't really have to go over it too much. You got Hotchkisses, you got other Hotchkisses, you got Shomus, you got B1/B2s. That's really it. It's not really a great lineup. The B2s are pretty awesome because they get good fire support and an A phase and not terrible, as they can kind of fight Sturich and short of Shermans because they got a 75mm gun, 75mm gun, which is pretty good for suppression. But apart from that, it's really terrible. You don't even get like Stugs or Stews or anything like remotely like proper German. So you're just kind of left in the dust using these terrible light tanks. Or this is a heavy tank. Everyone's like right, this is kind of a medium tank. Yeah, most of these are really lights or mediums. Really only these guys I'd say are the proper light tanks. But yeah, it's not great. It's not great at all. Support lineup, it's pretty standard. You got some flamethrower troops. You don't really need them. Got some IG-18s. IG-18s are always a good pick. They help out quite a lot. You get a nice amount of supply trucks, all of them only in A phase, but you just take 2 cards of these and you're essentially good to go for the entire match. You then also got Flampanzer B2s, which is, instead of having the 75mm gun, it's got a flamethrower. Arguably not as useful, but these guys can prove to be rather effective when inside a town, you know. I know it's still a bit risky bringing such a slow lumbering beast into a town, when you could just, like, if you're playing a Panzer division, you just use Flam Panzers, because Flam Panzers are pretty awesome. But it's Flam Panzer half track, right? It's actual Flammen Panzer, because there's a Panzer with Flammen on it, or shooting Flammen from inside, out of it. It can be somewhat decent. It's not the best thing here, unfortunately. It's got some veterancy, which was nice. Got going for you. Then you got some IG-33s. The big Death Star cannon that you see in like the grills and the Brumba. It's a really powerful cannon. It's a damn good cannon, but the problem with IG-33s is they're such high priority targets and they're really bloody expensive. So they just end up getting killed. While the IG-18, what makes this much better than the IG-33, even though it does much less damage, you're not really going to cry when you lose an IG-18. You get like a few kills with it and it's already paid itself off. While the IG-33, you know, it kills like 1 or 2 things, then it gets spotted and all the artillery drops on top of you. So yeah, they're just not really that good and not rough roll at all, I say. The anti-tank tab, it's pretty meh. It's really quite meh. I mean, the problem is he's not really getting veterancy on any of this stuff, and you really need the veterancy on the anti-tank tab, because this is pretty much your only major way to deal with the armored tanks, because you actually have no proper tanks to help you against Guard Armored or Desert Rats or anyone who brings in lots of tanks, which is a lot of Allied divisions. Heck, even the Allied infantry divisions bring in a crap ton of tanks. You've got some Panda Shreks, No veterancy. Yeah, I mean, Panzer Strikes are not bad, but could be better. You got some weird Pack 37 47mm. It's a pretty decent light AT gun, as it's got 9 AP. It's slightly worse than a Pack 38, but I think it has a better fire rate, maybe? It's a bit cheaper, I know that for sure, but they're not the best thing in the world. They're pretty meh. You also got an A-Phase Pack 40, which is cool. So that's a pretty good unit, as it has the range advantage compared to a lot of stuff in A-Phase. So it's definitely a worthwhile piece of equipment. Yeah, and got some harder runs. No veterancy, ×3 availability. Yeah, it's just some mortar runs, and you got some more Pack 40s, which are like they're pretty decent AT weaponry. Like they're not bad, but it's not exactly great, and you really need something with a bit more punch and a bit more reliability to one shot those incoming Sherman hordes that are going to be coming at you, and he's just don't exactly make the cut, because what you use the Avenger of Pack 40s, you get first shot, and unless it's like 2-star veterancy, you're going to miss. You're just going to bloody miss, and then you get artillery on. But what not's going to miss is finally in C phase, you get some bloody Pack 43s, which are really vital, as Pack 43s are a fantastic AT gun because they're so reliable. They will actually kill stuff. Like 1.2 kilometer range, it lines up, down goes whatever you're shooting at. It's a really good AT gun, and you're going to need these to keep your Shermans and Cromwells and Fireflies. Well, if you're playing against an opponent who's bringing Firefly to fight you 7/16th, then they're already doing something pretty wrong. But anyway, these are very vital pieces of equipment, because you need his heavy AT capability, as nothing else really cuts it in terms of just being reliable. Anti-air, yeah, it's alright. You got Flag Verkelins, Flag Velins, my bad, 37 mils. You got pretty much a tactical of just a single 20 mil, or you can get a tactical with 4 20 mils. This is the better option. No, these aren't too bad units, to be honest. I mean, it's a mobile IA, which is nice, but it's no Gepard. Yeah, that's for sure. Got some more Flaxy Velins and 37 mils. And you're probably saying, oh, Rang, you're complaining about AT capabilities, but you got Flak ATH. I mean, these are fantastic AT guns. And yes, you're right, Flak ATHs are pretty damn good AT guns. But they die really easily, because AA guns in this game take 50% extra damage versus ground fire. So if these guys are getting shot at by ground units, and if using it as an AT gun, it's going to get shot by ground units, they die very quickly and get suppressed very quickly, so they're not exactly all that useful. And it's a big flak AT, you can't hide it in a hedgerow. So it's not a great AT weaponry, to be entirely honest. Good for AA. They're good AA weaponry when you actually keep it back and not using it as a frontline unit, because it's not really recommended to really use Flak 88s as a frontline unit unless you're very desperate. But yeah, it's just not really that good for being reliable AT sources, and that's one of the big problems with this deck, is that you don't have reliable AT sources. Artillery is one of the saving graces of this division, one of the few, but you have to build your artillery tab right, because there's really a right way I'd have to say it, and I'll explain that later once we get to my actual deck. But you got a lot of options. You got 50mm mortars, you got this like World War 1 artillery piece, I believe it's World War 1. You got some Lorraines, you got some 81 mils, you got the rough ramming. This rough ramming on like little French stinky armored vehicle thing. Very good unit. This will make towns disappear, and it does a shit ton of damage. Absolute ludicrous display of damage. And it leaves a very nice napalmy effect on the field as well, so the enemy's going to feel it for quite a while. 120mm mortars, 18M guns, more Lorraines, and Lorraines are very good artillery units for this division. And C-Phase got neighbor earthers, you got off-map artillery half-tracks, more 120 mils and more 380 or 380mm off map. For the most part, the majority of the artillery is actually pretty short range. All of it is essentially 1.6 km or less, apart from the early F-18Ms, which are 2.4 km. So it's really more close range, high damage, compared to like long range, like less damage, like using RESPs or you got the LAF-18Ms, but you don't want to use them, and I'll get into that a little bit later. And the ATAB, yeah, it's also pretty meh. You got some Storches, that's cool. You got some wonderful Messerschmitt Goes, like fantastic fighter. I'm joking, it's terrible. It only has 3 machine guns. It's a battle Britain too late, to be honest. You got a Ju-88S with like the regular small bomb payload. Not really at use for an A phase, and also really bloody expensive. B phase got Messerschmitt proper fighter. You got some B1s, which are actually pretty nice. They're not the most reliable AT source, because I know using like B1s and B3s is like rolling like a D6 and hoping that you get a good hit. Because sometimes you can just, pop tanks left, right, and center with these ducks, and the other times it is duck and miss. You got some rocket planes, which are always pretty good because they act as decent as fighters. That is the same weapon loadout as a Go for the fighter capabilities. But, it also can drop very powerful rockets and 2-minute reload on the rockets, which is nice. We've got the Messerschmitt, this one, I'm not really going to say a full name, with a 250 kilogram bomb, which isn't a terrible choice either, and also I think it's one of like the few Axis airplane cards actually comes in ×3 availability, because for most of the times usually just a single plane or ×2. I can't really think of many Axis airplane cards that have ×3, so that's pretty cool. Got some good Messerschmitt fighters later on, and then more Ju-88Ss. You do get one with the 2 big 500 kilogram bombs, so that's pretty cool. So with that out of the way, let's take a look at a deck that I built earlier. Once again, the deck code is in the description below, and here we are. So Recon, A phase just takes bar troops, and B phase take Fusiliers, as Fusiliers also act as good regular infantry in it. Infantry. I prefer Grenadiers over Osttroopens, so I take the Grenadiers. I just prefer the little bit extra survivability that Grenadiers have, even though they're a bit more expensive. I don't find that to be too big of an issue. So you've got to realise with the income, you can get 4 of these guys a minute if you really want. So yeah, extra 5 points, I don't think it's going to be making too much of an issue. Yes, you could get 5 of these guys every minute, which is pretty ridiculous as well. But I just want the survivability. All the Italian troops, because you're not a masochist, will take 2 cards of Pioneers, because we're going to need some CQC guys. And then more Grenadier Fears and C phase for leader capabilities. And I believe that's really all the leader units in our deck. Yeah, because there's no leader support units. And by God, we're not taking any of those terrible tanks. So these are our leaders right here. We've got 8 leader cards, which isn't too bad. Sure, that's not terrible, but it's all infantry based, so it's a bit slow. Which is, a lot of things in this division is really bloody slow. Tanks, we only take the 2 B2s and A phase. Because once A phase comes and goes, pretty much all these B phase cards are just terrible. You don't even want to bother with taking anything past B phase tank rise, because they've already long overdue by 4 years the usefulness of these tanks. So another 10 minutes would definitely make them extremely out of vogue. So just the 2 B2s as a decent fire support. I'm not really a big fan of using the cheaper Hotchkiss tanks that you would maybe use in other Axis divisions. Just for this division, as you're just solely reliant on them, as you know, have good fire support to help you out. So I just take the 2 B2s. They're not terrible A phase tanks, and have damn good fire support. Speaking of support, all the IG-18s, because why not? They're pretty good. And 2 Opa Blitzes, because we're going to need a supply, and then the B phase Flampenzer B2. I know I just said yeah, it's pretty dumb taking cards past B phase, and yeah, the A phase run can also be pretty worth it. But it's just some extra tanks just in case. And I usually stick these guys exclusively in towns, so it's not too big of an issue. Yeah, I'm being so completely outdated. They're usually gonna die, of course, because bazookas and, if a P actually hits you, if it actually hits you. But they're not terrible town, very close range fighters, because flamethrower, that's always cool. Anti-tank, Panzerschrecks, because we just kind of want some infantry AT early on as we have to wait till B phase, get the Italian dudes, and, Panzerschrecks are pretty awesome. Pack 37s, and then 1A phase Pack 40. B phase, I prefer the Martyrs over the Pack 40s, as the Martyrs are maneuverable. Yes, they can't ambush, but at least they can get out of dodge once your artillery starts dropping down. And then C phase, both Pack 43s. I mean, you could take out one of these and take like another car Armadas or Pack 40s if you don't feel comfortable to get through B phase, but I'd much rather have that terrible B phase in terms of AT capabilities and wait till C phase to get the awesome Pack 43s, as these guys will definitely save you if you're getting heavily pushed by tanks, which will probably happen. And so yeah, it's a bit lackluster. Not enough. Sorry. It's not enough. It's just enough to get you by. But the main tip with the anti-air tab is you don't use the Flak 88s as anti-tank units. You do not do that. You keep them back. You just let them shoot down aeroplanes, and you get a critical mass to just try to create like a big AA net. Yeah, tells Mosquito pilots to go back to Britain. But you got the Flak 36s early on for a bit of cheap AA, and then the Flak C Verlins. I try not to lose these guys. Very much try not to lose these guys, as it's not a lot, but it's just enough for the close to mid-range AA fire support, so the Flak 88s later on will be doing the major damage. The artillery. So, when I'm talking about how you can build your artillery tab wrong, what I mean is that you take the soft-skinned artillery units. So it's the 50mm mortars and 81mm mortars and yearly F-18s. They're all pretty terrible ideas, because all that stuff dies pretty quickly. Very quickly. Because you're just going to get counter-batteried. And the allies, I mean, a lot of the time, they have sextons or priests. Even, like, infantry divisions have some pretty good armored-based artillery pieces. Like, yeah, they do. So you want to take something a bit more armored, a bit more mobile, so you can relocate. We're taking both rough Rammons because they are fantastic at just clearing an area, just making this whole point just disappear. And then we take the Lorraines in B phase because the Lorraines are really bloody good. As the bloody Lorraines, they will rain down absolute hell onto the enemy. And they do a lot of damage, and you can move them around. And if you get enough of them, and you got 4, which is more than enough, you can definitely try and keep the enemy back with just ridiculous amounts of high explosive fire. So the range are really good pieces. And then we got Neighbor Earthers and C phase just for a bit of extra, screw you from 1.6 kilometers with some high explosive rockets. We are going to be taking the soft-skinned artillery piece here on A phase. I mean, yes, you could also take Lorraine, but this is a bit cheaper. I'm not really expecting it to survive the entire match, but it's pretty good early on, just for some cheaper artillery fire support. And usually by the time B phase kicks out, or late B phase, when the allies start getting some good artillery to counter battery you, they're probably going to die. But during that A phase period, that grace period, you're not going to be doing too bad, and with the veterancy, they can definitely help out quite a bit. And aeroplanes. B1, because we need all the AT we can get, 2 Messerschmitt rocket planes, and then the C phase Messerschmitt fighter. Pretty standard stuff. The Messerschmitt rocket planes kind of fill the same role as the Lorraines to try and keep stuff back, as you just hoping that you can put down enough high explosive firepower to stop the enemy from getting too close. And then a Messerschmitt fighter, because we're going to need some sort of actual fighter, even though these guys can prove to be somewhat decent. So, overall, the pros of this deck. Well, you got a lot of infantry. That's cool. You're not going to run out of infantry. Hopefully you're not. Because you have an absolute crap ton, and you're going to need it to just make an absolute meat shield between you and the enemy forces. You have a lot of artillery. That's cool. IG-18s, Lorraines, Rammans. You got a lot of it. It's all pretty nice artillery. It's not the best, but you got a lot of it. And you got, a nice A-phase income. Like, 100 points is, like, a ridiculous amount for an A-phase economy, right? But you don't really think about it all too much 7/16th, because 7/16th isn't like a A-phase Rust deck like French or Desert Ratch or Poles or Second, etc. So even though it has a lot of income, you just never really realise, because they're just going to be camping with that money. They're just going to be sitting at home, watching TV and using artillery and infantry to try to keep stuff at bay rather than trying to rush the enemy spawn point. Now the cons of this deck. You're slow. You're really slow. You have no proper mobile units in this. Even the tanks aren't extremely mobile. You're going to be taking everything at foot speed, essentially. You can't just break through in the last 5 minutes and try to get back +2 point victory. No, you have to do it the slow and very methodical way of moving infantry in front, keeping all fire support in back, and rating fire support and AT guns to move up to the next hedgerow before you do another assault. It is the World War I division, quotation mark, so you play it like a bloody World War I. The tanks are terrible. They're 4 years too late. The tanks are just bad. You have a pretty poor late game economy. You don't really have anything too expensive to buy in this division to begin with. Yeah, you could get some J-88 if you want, but they're not exactly the best thing. But still, 120 points isn't exactly rolling in money. Especially 110 in B, that's pretty terrible B phase. And the major weakness, and why I think it's such a terrible division, mainly in 1v1s, is that you're very easily countered by artillery. If you're playing against a Canadian player, for example, and he gets 2 of those 2-star sections, you're not going to have a good time. You're going to do an infantry push, you're just going to get stunned by fire support. You're going to bring out some AT guns, they're going to maybe shoot one thing, or maybe kill one thing, but they're going to get shot at by artillery guns. If you're playing against someone who knows about this weakness, which a lot of people do by now, you're just going to get artillery and high explosive to death. You're not going to bring out fireflies to fight you, or AT weaponry. No, they're going to bring out fire support cromwells and artillery and long range high explosives to just pummel you back, and they're going to break through. As you're not as you're very, very soft, you're very easily suppressed with 7/16. You don't have a lot of veterancy, you don't have that great AT, so you're not going to be doing that great against a division that can really just pummel you with high explosive power. And that's what makes 7/16 a pretty bad deck, is you're just not good in that regard. You're so easily countered by just artillery spam, and even non-artillery decks, or decks that don't have as much artillery, can still just pummel you to hell and back. Good luck against second infantry. It's just gonna get a few xylophones, and every time you do a push, you just get xylophoned back to your tree line, essentially. But that's really all in 1v1. Because 7/16 is not good in 1v1, it's just slow, you don't have your teammates to help you out in team games. 7/16 isn't as bad, as pretty much your teammates can help you out if they're getting pushed and bring out AT weaponry and stuff, while you can just set up a decent defensive line while your teammates actually do the push and try to actually win the match. But yeah, I just don't think 7/16 is really that good of a division to begin with. I'm not saying if you like 7/16, I'm not telling you you're a terrible player, you shouldn't be playing 7/16. Fuck yeah. If you have fun playing, Lorraine, artillery, ram and spam, using some crappy French tanks, go for it. This game isn't MLG Pro where you have to, you know, climb up the bloody leaderboards to become the best. No, just play what you find fun. I know a lot of people find 7/16 to be fun, but I just want to point out, yeah, if you want to like try to play competitively, or if you want to try to min max, 7/16 isn't a good division for that. And I think that's enough rambling. But we're actually going to see someone play him in a 1v1 and win. So, see you again. Alright, and we're back. We're doing a 1v1 on Hill 112. We have Sombra playing as 7/16th, and we have Bipo the Slasher as 15th Scottish Infantry Division. Take a look at Sombra's deck. Lost troop and spam compared to the Pentagondier spam and A phase. He's taken a lot more tanks, which I find rather surprising. A lot of B2s, an awful lot of B2s. I still don't think it's worthwhile to get them past B phase, but really, it's whatever you want. And I'm not here to say it's a terrible idea. I mean, he does have command veterancy with the show me tanks, so he doesn't have to get a second infantry leader card, so he's got that going for him. Not as many IG-18s, no Flampanzer. 80s, pretty similar, except for the fact no Panda tracks, but he's going to be doing more mortar run spam and some Pack 40s. AA is exclusively just 88s. His artillery tab is pretty good. He's taking pretty much the same amount of Lorraines, but he's going to get them in A phase instead of B phase. And then aeroplanes is the mainly B runs and G6 and the Messerschmitt proper fighter plane. So it's quite a bit different, but the main thing is that he didn't fall into the mistake of taking not Lorraines, because you really just take Lorraines. That's one thing that you have to do for 7/16, is you have to take Lorraines. As you bloody and the Rough-Rammons, as those are the two vital units that you need to even have a goddamn chance of actually making it through the match. So take a look at his deploying lineup. It's just a lot of infantry, a lot of self-skin targets. It's pretty hard to push with 7/16. Just any time really. I try to actually think of bloody words. The top of the hill doesn't seem to be a bad idea. It's a bit more short range. If he gets some Panzer B2s, they can do some damage up here. And it's not a far distance going from here to here, so that's a pretty good chunk of land he can take. And it's not a terrible map, as there's quite a good amount of tree lines to hide AT guns and just to defend. Because most of the time, 7/16, you're going to be defending. And Bipo, he's got a pretty good counter lineup. The Churchill Mark V will be a huge pain in the ass. There's one Pack 40 that can kill it, and he also got a Flak 88 if he really wants it, but he also really wants his two only 80 options to effectively kill that Churchill Mark V. That has a 1.2 kilometer high explosive mortar or howitzer, which is really bloody deadly. Got some IG-18s being deployed. The pack, I hope that's just, is that a small pack? Yeah, just a small pack all around. But both sides are being pretty reserved in their starting attacks. I mean, they're both infantry divisions. I think Scots could be a bit more aggressive, as they actually have armour and a bit more punch compared to Sombra early on. The Stuart is getting a position, going to be putting down some fire support, but it's only with 37mm, so it can't do too much damage, and Sombra just going to put his guys on hold fire and keep him in the tree line, so he's got that going for him. And it's just pretty much an even 50-50 at the moment, using the Kubel MG to try to suppress the Bren groups, but even hitting the Kubel MG is just not all that good, I'd say. And it has most of his stuff on hold fire. He's just going to wait for things to get closer before shooting, which is a pretty good idea, as you need all the extra armor penetration chance that you can get. Yeah, it's a pretty slow A phase. When anything that comes out in the open, it's mainly just Bren groups trying to screen the ray. you just get repelled by the IG-18s. And Sombra's mainly going to be trying to do a push for the hill, which is smart. The Panzer B2 is going to be a pretty deadly opponent on the hill thanks to its fire support capabilities, and even if like a Stuart was to be up here, the B2 has a pretty good chance against a Stuart. The B2 is actually a pretty good Stuart eater. It can really eat a Stuart for breakfast. Even though it doesn't have the best penetration chances against it, you got the armor, which is nice. And you can always stun up Stuart pretty easily with the 75mm cannon. And the command carriers are moving around. And that's kind of one problem that I really don't like 7/16 in A phase is you lack any infantry AT. Also, Sombra didn't opt to take any Panzer Shrek, so he has literally no infantry AT weaponry in A phase. It's down to AT guns and his tanks only to do the anti-tank work. And even like a command carrier such as this, I mean now he's got the B2 here, but yeah, Osttroopen can't really do too much against it. They can suppress it a bit, but it's not going to reliably kill it. He's got, I guess, got the Fusiliers, but relying on just AT grenades for anti-tank capabilities, I don't think is exactly the best idea. But it's a slow, methodical match. There's not going to be any crazy like half-track rushes or armored breakthroughs because it's 7/16. It's just going to be a very slow grind down. You're like the rain on the Grand Canyon over millions and millions of years, just slowly eroding through the rock. That's 7/16. Yeah, unfortunately for Steel Division matches are usually 40 minutes compared to a couple million years. So you're a little bit pressed for time with this erosion strategy. And we've got a rocket plane coming in, the Typhoon. Getting a very good hit on the Panzer B2, going to be forcing it full back. And we got a 2-star 6-pounder being brought in. And that 2-star 6-pounder will definitely be a pain in the arse. And there's no artillery over here to like try and counter battery it. The rest of the map is really quiet. There's nothing even really worth mentioning. You got G0 when the Messerschmitt Go, which sounds like an iPhone app, doing some strafing. And you see the B2 when there's nothing really to like shoot at it, when it has, you know, armor superiority. It's a really good fire support unit. And with the leader veterancy boosting up to 2-star veterancy, it can really be quite devastating piece of equipment. It's also because he's only fighting against like guards, or not? Yeah, no, it's Scotch. My bad. Because a lot of other allied divisions, like I can think of quite a few that have Shermans and Cromwells in A phase, can really make those B2s, I say run array, but the B2's pretty terrible at running array, so you usually just get killed. And go 6-pounder getting into position, and yeah, he's going to kill the B2, yeah, but he's going to pay for it with his life. But still, it's a pretty good trade with the 6-pounder killing the B2. And now you might want to press the R button to run away. That'd be a good idea. But the main thing is Sombra has a hill. And having the high ground, as we know from Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, is a pretty good advantage to have. And if Sombra can just hold this high ground, put some AT guns and IG-18s up here, you can pretty much just control this area of the map and maybe slowly move down here. But the main thing is, if he can just clear the rest of his hill, he could get a plus run. And that's what he needs, is the rest of the map. As you take a look, nothing's really going on. We've got a B2 and a Churchill trading shots. Neither are going to be able to really kill each other. But the B2 is going to get suppression because it has the 75mm as well as the 47mm. I think it's a 47mm. Yeah, it's a 47mm. The crazy thing about the B2 here's the B2 fact here. A lot of the French tanks actually will run man turrets, including this. So the person up here was the gunner, the loader, and the commander of the entire tank. He had 3 bloody jobs to work on, so it really sucked to be that guy. Yeah, well, the Germans, as you see, did put a command cupola on top. I believe that's a German modification of the Panzer B2. Don't exactly quote me on that, because the Germans, every time they captured a a foreign tank. They always ended up putting a big ass command cupola on top. I mean, the commanders just like to see. But yeah, that was quite a big thing with a lot of French tanks before the Second World War. And it seems a bit dumb. Like, why would you have a one-man turret? And yeah, in hindsight, it was pretty dumb. But the reason they did it was mainly just due to manpower shortages. As before the Second World War, the French army wasn't exactly like huge. They had issues, you know, getting enough guys into the tanks. So would you rather have 2 tanks with 3 guys in each tank, or would you rather have 3 tanks with 2 guys in each tank? I mean, you're gonna trade some, you know, penalties from having a bunch of 2-man tanks, but you can end up putting more guys in those tanks and getting more of them. Messerschmitt Go actually trying to fight Spitfire. I believe it was the Messerschmitt that went down there. Yes, it was. No, that's a Typhoon. That's a Typhoon actually went down. My bad. So I completely lost track of the match as we're talking about the size of French turrets before the war. I mean, this is 7/16. It's really slow. It's nothing really fun to speak of. I mean, you got this Go and a Spitfire going at it, but they both have pretty much like the same stats in terms of agility and speed. So it's just going to be down to if Beepo wants to get an AA gun. You know, oh, that was not the good idea to retreat. Oh no, yeah, it's just far enough away to get out, so that's pretty good. B phase is here now. And we just got a defensive line from Sombra, and he's just got slow plus run. I mean, he's got a little bit of a bulge in the middle. Now, got an artillery gun from Beepo, and he's starting to pound away, which is pretty standard stuff. Mortar will have to be pretty good at keeping these tanks at bay, especially Sturridge. Well, this command Churchill is definitely going to be a pain in the ass, as the Pack 40s can't deal with it. Heck, even a Flak 88 would have a hard time dealing with it. It's not going to be till C phase when, you know, you can get a Pack 43, which could actually blow that thing to bloody kingdom come. But a Pack 40's here. You know, he's just going to be able to keep it array. I mean, he can also Lorraine it and just keep it suppressed, as that's his best thing to do for his next 4-minute show. And yeah, it's really just down to Lorraine. They're doing quite a bit of damage. Killed a 17-pounder, yeah. Yeah, I don't know why you'd need to bring out a 17... I could kind of say against, like, the B2, but... still. I mean, once you kill the B2s, those 17-pounders are pretty much worthless against 7/16. I also guess some order runs. I'm going to be a bit harsh here, to be honest. We've finally seen some Shumu tanks. Not the best thing in the world, especially in B phase, but heck, it's got some command bonuses. So it's got that going for it. Bit of a push on the right hand side, sure, is going to be tough to deal with, as Pack 40 does not have any good line of sight on it, because it goes this forest blocking its view. The IG-18 is going to try and suppress it, but at that range, sure, it can use all 3 of its deadly machine guns to keep your IG-18 suppressed. But the B1 comes in, gets 1 kill, almost kills the second. He was going to get Spitfired, and down goes the B1. Oh no, manages to get right, it seems. Flak 88, is he going to save him? And the Go coming in. And that Spitfire does go down. Oh, Go's been doing a pretty good job, actually, considering it's a Messerschmitt Go. Still not the best fighter in the world. But when you have AA, at least it can chase stuff down and kill it. Left hand side is pretty much just being contained by Sombra. It's just a choke point, and 7/16 Flak's a good choke point because they can just Lorraine it to death, as you can see. But yeah, he's still in the lead. It's not enough to get a victory at this stage, but you know, he's just holding the line. This is 7/16. And this is Churchill's being shot at from all angles, but nothing's really hidden. That's what I mean about like an unvetted pack gun, and they're not exactly that useful. And the lack of veterancy for 7/16 hurts him quite a bit. I really should have mentioned that in the con section too. Because you really do need a veterancy of these like AT gun pieces to actually be able to do anything. At least with like the Pack 43s, they got like 7 accuracy, plus with the run style veterancy, it's 8 accuracy. Bring another leader unit in, it's 9 accuracy on those Pack 43s. So at least they don't miss. They shouldn't miss. They better not bloody miss. Right hand side, you got some Assault Pioneers being brought in, even though it's Flamethrower icon, they only have Satchel charges. Main thing is Beepo hasn't really been getting out that much artillery. He needs more 25 pounders. He just needs a pound Sombra to hell him back. As that's exactly what you do against 7/16. And you see now, Pack 40 in the hill, he's suppressed. That a 25 pounders going to Pound Town, and he's 2-star 25 pounders thanks to the Dingo. And 25 pounders are such good counters against 7/16 for that specific unit and sections as well, because they just shoot so bloody fast. And there goes the AT gun. You can pretty much kill the AT guns. Yeah, 7/16 has, and you can just walk all over them. And there's not that many AT guns that you have to worry about, so it's not a huge issue. We've got 2 of these Churchills, an Avra and a Command Churchill, which are perfect, absolute perfect in this environment. But B1's going to come in. I don't think it's going to be able to get a penetration. Nah, you can't even penetrate that thing from the front, so wouldn't even bother. Left hand side to see looking pretty strong. I think it's maybe where Sombra managed to make the breakthrough. There's a very slow, methodical breakthrough. We got some flak 88, and he's just using them as anti-air. He's not using them as frontline units, which is the way you should try and use flak 88. Show Me does go down because it kind of rests in there and got piated. Yeah, he's still got the slow plus run, and now he's in enough to get a victory. But see the Churchill in the middle. He's still not dead. He's actually almost out on AP shots, which is pretty funny. Well, yeah, it is AP. Anything to get destroyed by the B run. Probably going to get out due to the Flak 88 covering, and the Messerschmitt Go, and the actual Messerschmitt fighter. Actually, even kills the Spitfire, which is pretty good. And the Pack 43, oh, he's going to run right into that Raki squad. And a little bit ballsy with that aggressive Pack 43 positioning. Not going to pay off in the end. But nice thing, a Pack 43 also has rather high HP, so he can usually get out of dodge. The hill was not looking all that good. Especially with off-map artillery that's about to come on the field from off the field. And yeah, I really don't know what to say. It's just this 7/16 is pretty boring to watch in 1v1, as you don't really do much. There's not much moving. It's just you set up some infantry in the line, you put some AT guns, and you just try to artillery enemy to death. And then if you feel like you artillery jam enough, you can usually move up. B1 gets killed on a Churchill. The Avra's OVR has been disabled, and I believe the other Churchill has been destroyed as well. So that's pretty good. Churchill in the middle finally goes down. But Sombra just managed to get just enough points to get the lead, and even though it says it's a 50-50, he doesn't have to move anywhere, and he set up like a bloody brick wall. With just all the infantry all over the bloody place, and all the AT guns and IG guns, left, right, and centre. It's going to take Bebop a bit too long to really break through. And the B1 is actually getting some pretty good snipes. And now we're finally seeing the artillery online, and they're doing pretty good work. They kind of need some recon to get some corrected shots, as he's firing a bit blind at the moment, as you can tell, due to the accuracy of those 25 pounders back here. And we're just gonna speed this up all the way because I just don't know what to say. It's a pretty simple to play 7/16. Not really fun in my book. I mean, if you do find it fun, that's good for you. I don't want to diminish that because everyone has like their certain raid divisions that not raid, but you know, certain playstyles that I like to keep to. But Kilray Sombra did really bloody well. He was really point efficient on outmatch, and yeah, G18s did good. Panda B2, I think as one on the hill, killed a lot. And Lorraine's keeping stuff at bay. We got one knock, two 17-pounders out. And that's 7/16. It's 7/16. Yeah. I'm pretty much out of words. It's just division. It's an infantry division. With infantry. And well, I'm gonna leave it off at that. This has been another Steel Division Divisional overview. And I hope you guys enjoyed the video. And as usual, please just take it easy.